this a little bit more, sorry guys. For part 3, our problems and solutions that we go over together in class, like what I have on the screen, are in your notes. In the right place. So if I find your notes page that is headed today with expressions, and you don't have this headed yet, but if I find your notes from January 27th, Isaiah, you writing these things down, or are you having fun tearing paper? I get it. If you're trying to make it fit in your notes, I get it. And I'll give you guys time to tape it in later if you want to tape this in. And number 4, quite frankly, if your notes are a train wreck, they're not going to be a check. So general organization, things under that is also, is it on graph paper? Because I have said all year long, we take math notes on graph paper, so we can draw things and have vertical lines. Do you write like a 7th grader should write and go horizontally across your paper or vertically down your paper following the lines that are provided? Or do you just write like sideways and like we are now in quarter 3 of 7th grade year. I hate when teachers say this, but I'm going to do it. We are now trying to prepare you for 8th grade, right? That to me seems dumb because you should be living in the present, like live for now, live in this moment. But really, in 8th grade, you have higher expectations, and in high school, you have higher expectations of you. So just like now, like pretty much everything that you write has to be cops, and if not, it's not mastery. That's the sort of stuff we're looking at now for notes. We take pride in the notes that we take. I mean, guys, if I go too fast, slow me down. If we can't get through everything I wanted to in a day, boo-hoo, I don't care. We will get to it the next day. So please do not, come at me and say, well, you went too fast. Well, if you didn't say slow down, I don't know that. So by the way, I was saying boo-hoo about me, not boo-hoo about you. I care about what, you feel, but I don't care about me. I don't care about if I get through my lesson. Oh no, whatever. I planned more than what we got through. That's every day for every teacher, right? You should have extra stuff planned. We probably, especially now in quarter 3, and I'm trying to get my act together, we probably won't ever get through all the slides that I make. And on that note, this is a good time to let you guys know the slides has changed. It's a different Google Slides. I had hundreds and hundreds of slides in the old one, and I decided it was way too big, in case somebody accidentally hit print on the whole file. Woo! That didn't happen, but I got real scared when I clicked print and just looked at what it would look like, and I was like, oh man! So, in Schoology, the new slides are in the new folder. I don't know why I closed my Schoology page or minimized it or whatever I did to it, but now I'm trying to find it. What's up?
Wait, when is the date for the next check?
Thank you for asking. I will slide my thing back up. February 10th for you guys. So that, I think, is a Wednesday, but Green has Thursday, Friday that week or something silly. Now, what I actually hope to be able to do is, since I know I'm just checking 2 weeks of notes, I hope to be able to figure out a way to do it during class. Plan that we're taking a test or doing something in Desmos or whatever that I can just grab your notebook, because there's 10 of you, right? Not even. There's 7 of you right now. So if I can do it during class, that would be great. So the last thing I want you to write down on this piece of paper, and I left myself too much space because I didn't know how much space I was going to want, is that the next check is only new notes starting today. So I want you to do something with this paper, and like Isaiah was showing us, we're probably going to tape this in. This sheet of paper is now done. We're going to start a brand new sheet of paper for our math notes today. I need you to do something in your math notebook to indicate that this is today. So whether you at some point grab a Post-it, or whether you, I don't know if you've ever done this before, where you fold your paper like a square, you make a square or whatever, or if you just fold the bottom a little bit so it's obvious when you go to your notebook, or if you dog ear the top of your paper, or you can fold over the top of it. you need to mark this page so you can refer back to it and check it, like, am I still doing what I should be in my notebook? But then move to a new page. Move to a new page. What's today's date? 27. Put that in the top right corner of your paper. We're going to try to make our notes look exactly the same. Now, the other thing I wanted to say before moving on. The next notebook check is only new notes. Only new notes. So, like, I will be starting at today's class and moving forward to check your math notebook. So nothing from the past matters, really, is what I mean. The other thing I want you to know, and this is why I'm going to have you set up your notes exactly like mine. My notes, these notes that I take during class, are living in this binder. So if you ever miss class or go to the bathroom or whatever, and you miss notes, you can borrow my notebook in AOR extensions. Just come grab it. Once I finish pages in here, I'll rip them out, put them in there. So if you grab my notes and they're not in there, just ask me. But guys, there's a tab for Math 7, Math 8, and Math 2. So there's Math 7, you guys are first. Then Math 8's further back, and then Math 2's further back. Oh, that's normal years. I use playing cards to sort kids into groups. So, like, you'll come to the classroom and, like, a card will be on your desk, and I'll say, like, all right, all the aces, kings, queens, or, like, all the diamonds, all the, you know what I mean? So that's just an extra playing card. So, if you need to borrow my notes, borrow my notes. There is no excuse for you to not get a check next time. Right? There's no excuse. I'm going to make sure that we take really good notes together in class. So here's your header for today. Unit header, beginning of the next notes check, right? This is the beginning of the next notes check. I would make this header super obvious. Please, for me, make this header super obvious so that I can find it easy to check your next notes. So it is expressions, equations, and inequalities.
Are we adding the unit at the beginning?
No, you don't have to write that down. Expressions. Equations. And this is the hard word to write. Inequalities. If I move too fast, if you need me to slide notes back up, like anything like that, just tell me. Try that my L kind of looks like a parentheses. I don't know why that happened. What is the difference between all these things? Well, visually, and you don't need to write this down, visually, if we were going to look at them, an expression does not involve an equals. An equation does involve an equals. What's equi mean? Equal. And in, what's in mean? Have you not had this stem yet? Oh, it's on list 2 then. In means not. So, inequitable, when someone says, oh, that's inequitable, it's not fair, right? It's not equal. So, inequality means not equal. So, here's what I need you to write down. Expressions, and guys, if you on your notes, like, want to rewrite the word expression or just write like EXP and abbreviate it, you can, because you just wrote the big header. Right? Expressions are numbers or variables. That's it. An equation says two expressions are equal. an inequality, you could just say says that one is bigger. Because saying one is bigger automatically says that the other one is smaller. So when we write an inequality, there's always going to be a bigger side and a smaller side. So there's always a bigger and a smaller one. So my notes look like this. Your notes should look close. And notice, I abbreviated a tiny bit, and you are allowed to abbreviate a tiny bit as long as it makes sense to you. You can't just write down, like, I don't know, like inequality. I think the least amount I would take is like not equal. If that's what makes sense in your head for an inequality, because we said in means not, and equi means equal. If you said not equal, I would accept that. So, the parts of an expression. So let's together write down 7n plus 2.
Wait, can you go back to that this time?
Yeah, actually here, you can just, if you want, just write from here. And guys, some of this is review from back earlier in the year, but it's worth reviewing because we haven't done it in a little while. So let's write down 7n plus 2. If you want to draw little squigglies or something to say, we're kind of shifting in our notes. We're still doing the same thing. But so this is an expression, right? Because it has no equal sign. The 2, because it doesn't have a variable. What did we say this is called? Starts with a C. It is our constant. So guys, I'm going to start to use these vocab words a lot more and not use like the easy numbers or like the easy words. We're going to start to speak more mathematically. So a number with no variable is a constant. (7n), because the whole thing has a variable, it is looked at as a variable term. And here's what I mean about that. This expression right now has what we say 2 terms. And we did this back at the beginning of the year where we said every addition or subtraction operation breaks up terms. So the addition is the operation that breaks it into 2 terms. The only reason, you can if you want. The only reason that we could combine terms is if they're like terms, and we'll get to that in a second. So the next thing I need you to write down, you can write down operation if you want, but 7 here, because it's the number being multiplied, is the coefficient, and leave some space to write the definition with this. Here, I'll just show so you can, if that's too small for you to read, please write down coefficient and then also write down variable. So the n is our variable, the 7 is our coefficient, the 2 is our constant. So we go to define these. By coefficient, sorry, I forgot I had it on this slide. By coefficient on your notes, I want you to just write down multiplier on a variable. And you could even just put multiplier. But the coefficient, what does co mean? Yeah, together or like with, right? So it's the multiplier with the variable. So to have a coefficient, we really kind of need to have a variable. So the coefficient is the multiplier with the variable. The variable is just the letter, right? If you want to define it, you could write down variables just our letter or unknown. You could write that down. That's normally what we call unknown, or what we call variable is our unknown. And the constant, we don't even need to write anything down as long as it makes sense to you. It's just the number. Number with no variable. So yep, I'm going to show my notes again as soon as I can get my tabs straight. This is what I really want you to have. Like terms, go ahead and write this down if you've got all the previous ones. Like terms, it's on the slides. I know it's a little confusing looking back and forth between my camera and the slides, but like terms, next vocab word we're writing down. Like terms are same variable, or if you don't have a variable, that also counts. So guys, the lack of a variable is the same variable. If neither of them have a variable, that is the same, right? So like terms man, I should probably use a better pen. Like terms, another vocab word for us. Same variable. And guys, if you can remember that no variable counts, you don't have to write what's in parentheses. Same variable to the same power. Now, we won't use powers much yet, but you will. Like, eventually you will. So, we want to make sure that we know that. What does that really mean? Well, it's right up here on the slides. The definition you're writing down is right here. Can you read that? Is that big enough? So same variable or none to the same power. So here's examples, right? If I have a 4a and a 5, they're not like, because the 5 doesn't have a variable. But if I have a 4a and a 2a, those are like. And guys, you don't have to write down these examples. I just want you to write down the definition for this moment. 4a and 2a would be like because they have the same variable to the same power. Even though we don't see it, a has a power of 1, right? A has a power of 1 here, a has a power of 1 here. And then the 5 and the 3 would be like terms, but the minus goes with the 3. So remember, that's like a negative 3. So we could also rewrite this as plus a negative 3 if we wanted to. So the 5 and the negative 3 make 2. You won't see situations like this soon. You will eventually. But when we have an x squared and an x, they are not like each other. X and x squared are two different things. So the minus 14x or negative 14x, I know the minus is kind of hard to see here. That's alone. It has no like terms. It's got no friends. Sorry. Not in that situation. Just, sometimes you're in class with none of your friends. But the 4x squared, he hangs out with the x squared. And remember, that's 1x squared. So that's 5x squared total. If you have variables together, guys, x, y is its own variable. Don't think about it like two variables separately. X, y is like one thing. Think about it like its own special thing. So xy and xy go together. So that's an example of same variable, same power. Now we're going to write some down. So let's practice this as I drop things. So we write down negative 3z minus z. Guys, this has a trapdoor. The trapdoor temptation is, 2z, or what? Negative 2z, right? No. Negative and another negative. Remember our good guys, bad guys, right? So if I rewrite this as negative 3z plus negative z, and guys, you don't have to rewrite it if if you've mastered this and don't make any mistakes anymore. But most of us still make mistakes. Hey, Nate, you writing this down with us? I'm real worried that you're not going to have the notes that I want you to have. We would get negative 4z. Now, another thing I'm going to start to nitpick in your notes, this should go vertically. If I solve a problem vertically, you should solve a problem vertically. And guys, I'm not trying to sound like mean or like really like a drill sergeant. Like if you go to the army, your drill sergeant says like your buttons have to be exactly like this, your shoelaces have to be exactly like this. Like I'm not joking. But trust me when I say I've had 9 years of students come through here, and the thing I hear most, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, I'm just trying to convince you guys. The thing I hear most is like, I hated math until you showed me how to make it easier. I still don't like it, but at least you taught me how to make it easier. Like, and I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Like, I don't need you to like it. So, try the next one. I gotta scoot my camera out of the way. But the next one can go beside it, because we're working vertically. Right? So if you draw a vertical line down, and guys, you could even box this. I started doing this a lot when I was in high school. Just kind of put things in boxes so I can see that was one problem. And then there's a separate problem that I don't want to mix up. And actually, I'm going to change colors. Guys, if you want to start bringing colors to class, that might make your life a little bit easier so you can see things in your notes better. Negative 4p. It makes it look pretty. Well, I like pretty notes. I'm getting warm, though. Well, the windows don't seal very well, so when I just sit here and like the classroom's empty, it gets kind of chilly in here. But then it warms back up with you guys in here. Do these guys fight each other or get along? They get along. They're both bad guys, and they're both P's, so they are like terms that join forces and make a bad guy 10p. Try the next couple on your own. I'm going to leave my notes like, well, I'm probably going to pull my notes. Wow. I'm probably going to leave them right where they are so you can't totally see my work. What's that? Why? Well, now my diffuser died, but normally people say it smells like pumpkin spice in here. It's because my germ fighter diffuser. Because I'm here to fight germs. Ew. You gotta clean it out every now and then, Stella. Yeah. You can't leave it with stuff in it. You gotta run it dry and clean it out. Can somebody tell me what you think the third one simplifies to? Negative 2s, because the bad guy wins. Now the last one here is real tricky. Can anyone tell me what happens in the last one? Lacey?
You take away 8 negatives, so it's pretty much the same as adding 8 positives.
Yeah, the minus the negative actually becomes plus a positive, right? Because the opposite of a negative becomes a positive. So this actually is going to lead us to our next part of our lesson about distribution. I'm going to write this down too, don't worry. So this we said was negative 2s. What happens here? Negative k minus negative 8k. Yeah, back when we said to take away 8 negatives is the same thing as adding positives, we also sometimes drew this like connection between them, saying, oh, that turns into a plus because minus a negative, take away bad guys, is actually a good thing. So this is negative k plus 8k, which comes out to be what? Yeah, positive 7k. Any questions on those 4 problems? Anyone need more time to get them down? Roger that. Try these. Pick 2 of these at least. I'm going to do all 4. At least probably. I'm going to flip to a new page because I don't have lots of space left. I only have about like an inch left on the bottom. Guys, when you get to the bottom of your paper, don't squeeze stuff in. Flip to a new page. Yeah, don't try to squeeze stuff in. It makes it hard. Well, crap. What is today's schedule? Darn. We have 1 minute of class left. Maybe I will put it in at the bottom of the page. All right, let's look at... We're going to skip all those. What? Sorry. I only got 1 more minute left. Look at the trapdoor one. Please write down negative n plus negative 4 minus negative 4 n expression, because there's no equal sign, but you're correct. This is a long expression. We have 4 pieces here. So when we go through and we gather up our like terms, and guys, I will probably have to extend a couple of our due dates, especially because how far we didn't make it today. What is this really? It's actually adding 4n. So when we, you don't have to rewrite the entire expression if you don't want to. Down at the bottom, though, when I do rewrite everything combined, what was a negative n plus 4n? Well, who wins, bad guy or good guy? The good guy, 3n. And then negative 4 and positive 6. Who wins? The positive 6 by 2. All right, so I am going to rewrite all of this just so I can see it. And then I am going to highlight to indicate like terms. My n values. And my constant values. That's all the time I have, because we have a math test today. I know time flies, right? So, let's recap what we talked about today. The mastery. Sorry, that should be turned off. The mastery. If you are progressing or missing, progressing to mastery is on Schoology. Khan Academy is due on Friday, but I will probably have to push a couple of the assignments. So please make sure you're doing the assignments in order. When you go look at the ones due the 29th, start at the top of your list and work down, because I will probably extend the due dates on the ones that are like later in those assignments. I'm trying to pull it up and show you guys. So as you're doing these, please do the like terms ones. And right about here is probably where it's going to start to get difficult because we haven't done it in class yet. But that's why I assigned the videos. So part of the reason why I assigned the videos is so we can work faster in class. I will not extend due dates on the videos. Okay, so I at least expect, and really you should try to do it before you come to class, but I at least expect that you get the videos all watched and try to get through whatever practices you can. All right, wipes, and let's get out of here. Please make sure this pages of notes you just took are away somewhere safe and you're not going to lose them. Nate? Yes. Yeah, and if you would like tape to tape the rubric into your notes, which you don't have to tape it in there. You could also staple it. I have staplers over by the notes. Yeah, guys, and tape and stapler over here by the turn-in bin. Please get your math notebook back. I do not want them left in those turn-in bins. So if you somehow made it all the way through class without getting your notebook back, go get it back.